Hello and welcome back to Game Domain. Today we're going to be discussing a game that we here at Game Domain have revisited lately, and it is just as intriguing and addicting as the first time we played through it. This game is none other than Nintendo's The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which has been out for well over 2 years now. One of the key reasons that Breath of the Wild has had much longevity popularity-wise is that there are still hundreds of thousands of players just now buying a Switch at rare discount prices, as well as getting original players back into the mix by the 2 DLC releases Nintendo put out. While these DLCs brought us a ton of cool Easter egg treasure chests filled with clothes from the past games, as well as the Trail of the Sword, Master Mode, and the 5th Divine Beast and Master Cycle Zero, we still feel like a release of a 3rd DLC might be sufficient for Nintendo and all of its fans and players. I mean, no matter what Nintendo puts out in the form of a 3rd Breath of the Wild DLC, most players will still buy it, just to get every bit more out of this incredible game. But the underlying question would of course be, what would be in this new DLC? Well, that'll be our main topic of discussion for today's video, so let's get into the good stuff. Now, if Nintendo was run by us here at Game Domain, wow, could you imagine? We would name the 3rd DLC Master Quest, in allusion to the secondary release version of the great Ocarina of Time in the form of Master Quest on the Nintendo GameCube, along with the Wind Waker. Now, this Master Quest wouldn't necessarily include an entire new plotline like the Champion's Ballad did, although, to be honest, we wouldn't mind it if Nintendo did give us another plotline, because who wouldn't want that? But it would include more Champions content. One main thing that we wanted to see in Breath of the Wild would be the ability to re-enter the Divine Beasts after they've been set up on their rocks to aim at Ganon. And we decided to pair this idea with another hope of ours, being able to play as the other 4 champions in some form. Now, what better way to implement this than by having you be able to play as each of the 4 champions and roam around each of their respective divine beasts? This wouldn't affect continuity of the story, because we all know that there is no way the spirits of the champions aren't just sitting there staring at Hyrule for the 200 plus hours we have in this game. So what better way to add to their storyline than by letting us roam around their divine beasts, and as the champions themselves? Another addition we'd like to see in DLC 3 Master Quest would be some sort of another added bonus for 100%ing the game. And by this, we mean making it through all 120 shrines in Hyrule, truly completing your quest as Hylian Champion and the Savior of Hyrule. In the current form of the game, you only obtain 3 pieces of clothing. These 3 pieces are the Cap of the Wild, Tunic of the Wild, and Trousers of the Wild. These 3 clothing items combine to make the iconic green outfit that we've been used to seeing Link don for the past 30 plus years. And don't get us wrong, this is an outstanding outfit and is a great reward, but really? After spending 100 plus hours in the game in order to get all 120 shrines, going back and forth all across the map to uncover every last hidden shrine, just to get clothes? I mean, there's gotta be something more you could get in reward for doing this much, right? Well, something else we would add in a Master Quest DLC would be another reward for this incredible feat, and there's a lot to it. In order to trigger this new reward, you would have to journey back into the main part of Hyrule Castle to face off with Ganon yet again. After defeating him, you would get a completely different cutscene in triumph of your victory. This cutscene would involve the memorable Gerudo form of Ganon, which we are used to in past Zelda games, and even in the Super Smash Bros. Series. This form of Ganon would not go against continuity in Breath of the Wild, as it is acknowledged by the Gerudo champion Urbosa in the cutscene in which he has Divine Beast Va Naboris aim at the castle. Ganon is just referred to as Calamity Ganon throughout the entire game, and it would be refreshing and touching to get some sort of familiar form of Ganon, just like the Gerudo Ganon. This cutscene would also include all of the 4 spirits of champions coming together alongside Link and Princess Zelda in confronting this Gerudo form of Ganon, and resulting in a touching moment that would make the defeat of Ganon and your journey through 100%ing the game much more eventful. Now don't worry, this wouldn't be all that this new Master Quest DLC would offer in shrines. Another aspect we would add would be alongside the chests that contain the Wild Clothing set, and there would be another chest that contains an unbreakable weapon, just like the Master Sword. What would that weapon be? None other than Link's iconic boomerang. Although boomerangs are in the game already as discoverable items, this would be an unbreakable and ultimate boomerang, fit to be thrown and deal a good amount of damage and then fly right back into Link's hand. To keep things not too overpowered, this boomerang would have level 20 power attached to it, essentially making it a high bottom tier to low middle tier weapon in the whole scheme of things. And in addition to this boomerang, we would also want to add another well-known aspect to Link's character, and that would be in the form of a hookshot ruin, which would work just like the hookshot in all the past Zelda games. Now that is all we have for specific additions into the Breath of the Wild in the form of a third DLC, but we do have 2 more generalized additions that we'd like to add. The first would be just at least 5 more DLC EX treasure chests added into the game, filled with more clothing items from past Zelda games, just as the EX chests from the first 2 DLCs contain. And the other general request we would have for a third DLC would just be the addition of another sort of storyline similar to the Champion's Ballad, preferably equal in length. But we could settle with a new plotline slightly shorter than the Champion's Ballad if we get all of our other requests. So, the bottom of the line for us in a third Breath of the Wild DLC would really be linking it more to the games of the past, connecting the old with the new. This would of course be by bringing back the boomerang and hookshot, as well as giving us a more modern glimpse of Gerudo Ganon, making him feel more realistic and human than the black shadow known as Calamity Ganon that he is portrayed as for the entire game. But whether you like our ideas or not, who wouldn't want more Breath of the Wild content? Thanks for tuning in to today's video entailing our proposition to Nintendo in the form of the Breath of the Wild DLC 3 Master Quest. Make sure you let us know down in the comments what you liked about our ideas and what you didn't like about them. And of course, feel free to tell some of us additions you would want to see in future Breath of the Wild DLCs, or even your own title for the next DLC pack. And while you're down there, be sure to like and subscribe. And don't forget to check out some of our more recent videos, which we will leave links for in the description, as well as our Patreon and Discord. Check out our Patreon, where you can donate to our cause and contribute to the great videos we produce. Some benefits of becoming a Patreon member include seeing future videos a day early, as well as having your name displayed at the end of our content. Our Discord is open to you guys to come and chat with our staff members and each other about gaming, so don't be afraid to join. We have great discussions about gaming topics in our Discord, and it's a great way to communicate and even play with fellow gaming fanatics and viewers of our channel. Down in the description, we also have the links to our merchandise stores, and there you can purchase an array of Game Domain merch ranging from mouse pads to even phone cases. We're also now well above 20k subs, and we just want to once again thank all of you guys for all the love and support you've given us these past 3.5 years. Stay tuned to Game Domain for more great content, and thanks for watching today's video on Breath of the Wild DLC 3 Master Quest.